My name is Samir Qureshi. I'm one of the founders of Knack.
I'm Dennis Hansen. I'm Chief Product Officer at Knack.
Sean Doyle, Chief Marketing Officer.
So procrastination, the word that every college student is a victim of. Studying the night before an exam, hoping to pass the final, let alone graduate. I just wish I had someone that could help me pass my exam tomorrow, said every college student ever. The solution is Knack. Knack is a mobile-first marketplace for student-to-student tutoring. Many call us Uber for tutors, and at the end of the day, a student simply opens up the application, searches the course he or she needs help in, browses a list of available tutors based on mutual friends on Facebook, availability, and location. From there, a student selects, sends out a request, says, hey, I need help on my calculus exam tomorrow morning. Please meet me at the Library West. Send out the request. A tutor who's now taken who's taken the course before with a B+ or higher, has signed up to our application, receives a request, and says, okay, I see that someone needs help. Meets up with that person, and the whole interaction is timed, billed, rated, and reviewed right through our technology. So I think there's like a 1-minute pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now we'll proceed into the 20-minute presentation. Looking at some of the problems in the market. So today, college students lack an affordable, effective, and accessible way to get the help that they need. Right now, tutoring is very expensive. So industry average for tutoring is $40 to $60 an hour, which for a college student is just frankly too expensive. On top of that, it's many times inconvenient. Professors and TAs only have limited hours. So come to my office from this, and this, and if those hours don't work for you, sorry. That's not really fair to a college student. So what we actually found is 40 to 60% of upper level coursework for STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, math, actually have no supplemental help at all. So that's a problem that we face as students, and Dennis has definitely faced, to say, study edge and tutoring zone are out there, but they're going after the big classes. They're going after the big chemistry class. If I need help for programming for this specific language, I can only really rely on my professor or go online where the help is very generic. It's okay, I can learn how to code, but it's not instructor specific, it's not affordable, and it's not effective and conducive to my learning environment. Let's see Knack in action. Just a quick little product demo for you. Beautiful Warrington College of Business courtyard.
I'm Brittany.
Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. I was hoping you could help me with this problem. It's like a couple days.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
Great.
Thanks.
So when designing our application, we kept in mind the 3 most important things. That's accessibility, affordability, and being course specific. Again, accessibility, being mobile first. The student, again, simply opens up the application, browses a list of tutors, selects the one he or she wants, and even has the ability to message them beforehand to say, hey, can you help me with this specific assignment? Affordable. So right now we're keeping our model at $20 an hour. It makes it very easy for us to market our beta, but as we kind of gather data, we might adapt that pricing model to allow students who are tutoring harder classes to charge more. Finals time surging prices, things like that. Course specific, again, it doesn't really matter if I'm getting help in general chemistry, if I'm taking Professor Johnson's Chem 2045 course for this specific exam. I need someone that understands the professor, the nuances, the textbook specific to that course, so that I'm getting the help that's relevant to my class. These are just some of the benefits our application offers. Session timer, so if you have a 17-minute session, you're not paying anything more, tutor's not getting paid anything less. From a tutor standpoint, this is where it gets really fun to get students on board. It's this concept of found money, they call it. So for Uber, which I became an Uber driver because I realized I can now capitalize on the fact that I have a driver's license and a vehicle. But we're allowing students to capitalize on existing knowledge. So B+ or higher now lets you make money tutoring at $16 an hour. Again, they keep 80%, we keep 20%. So they're making double minimum wage, working whenever they want. Again, they get that request, they decide to take it. If not, that's fine. And then from there, basically get paid out weekly, just like a part-time job, or full-time if they tutored out. Looking at the market, so actually Forbes has predicted by 2018 it's going to be a roughly $103 billion global private tutoring market. Looking at that even further, that's a 6.1% compound annual growth rate in the United States. With 21.6 million students enrolled as of 2010, 30% of them have actually used tutoring services in the past. Revenue model, touched on this a little bit earlier, but $20 an hour prorated and billed to the minute. There's a $5 minimum. That way, if a tutor's coming out, they're not getting paid anything less than $5. 15 minutes is the increments that we market it as, so we say $5 every 15 minutes, but really, if you, again, have a 17-minute session, you're paying that exact amount. Tutors keep 80%, Knack collects 20% service fee. So once we prove the viability of this business model, a couple other things that we've already started to have worked up is Knack spaces. So we partner with local coffee shops, places like Volta, Starbucks, Mods, to where when you have your interactions at these locations, you now get a loyalty program for being there. Keep students in public places. It just generally provides a better experience. B2B sales model. So we've actually started conversations with the athletic department at the University of Florida. As everyone knows, athletics bring in the most money. They got to make sure the students can actually have the grades to play. So it's important that they get the help they need. They have their own existing tutoring department right now. It's a very old process, not very streamlined. So we see an opportunity to be able to prove the B2C model, consumers getting students using it to say, hey, here are our data points. Students are now using this application during finals. They're using it here. Let's take a group of students, let's say student athletes, and say, hey, you guys essentially subsidize us, you pay us directly. And then we offer free tutoring to the athletes, as well as at-risk students, keep students from dropping out. In turn, the university makes more money. Looking at our marketing strategy, we focus on a very highly localized campus-by-campus expansion strategy. Target customers, one of those is included as parents because they always care about how good their children are doing in school. Upper-level students, so those that study-edge tutoring zone may not have because they're not big enough to encompass a large enough market to pay for it. STEM students, again, and graduate level students, we've identified them as having the least amount of resources available out there. Selling points, again, we're class specific, instructor specific, on demand, you can send out a request whenever, students are always up late, they get requests late, comfortable, and then creating a wide breadth of tutors available. So Uber, in a sense, has created a little bit of a new market, right? People, this independent contractor type. So what we've created now is a new base of tutors for courses that may have never existed previously, because there was no way for me to offer my services to be a tutor for law and entrepreneurship, but now because there's this app, I can say, hey, I'm willing to help, and if someone needs my help, I'm getting paid. Marketing, we depend on a strong campus rep program. We ran a beta test on our marketing strategy last spring at UCF and attained 2,000 signups in the first 6 weeks with 8 people. We actually paid them very little. It was like a weekly stipend. I think we paid them, and it worked very, very well for us. We got students from different states reaching out and saying, hey, when are you guys coming? So it was kind of a cool test for us to see, okay, the campus rep program works, but we also couple that with professor endorsements saying, hey, if you have students coming to you that you can't take care of, refer them to us, we'll give them their first session free. Whatever we can do to get students using and get the help that they need, we're doing. Maximum exposure and minimum cost is kind of our mantra when we go after advertising. So we use a lot of Facebook ads, PPC, click campaigns, things like that. A really powerful statement from our competitor is that 78% of their users would have never used tutoring services had they not existed. So again, it's kind of creating a market. It's allowing students to have an opportunity to use something to get help that may have never existed previously. From that, obviously sharing referral incentives kind of pumps it back into the system. Refer a friend, get a free session. Refer a friend, get $10 credit, things like that. Looking at our competition in the market, so those outlined in green are the indirect competitors, and those outlined in red are the direct competitors. Some of our competitive advantages against direct competitors we'll start with is that these guys outlined in the red actually operate as a replica of Uber. You open up the app, you drop a pin, you hit a button, and a tutor shows up. We operate more of like a Yelp, where it's a marketplace. You can type something in, you can browse, you can have that availability and flexibility. The reason we did that was because you're creating a relationship with these people. You want to know who they are. Chances are you might meet with them again to get help again. You want that same person. You want to be able to leave a rating and review for the appropriate person. Our back-end technology is actually custom built. In order for us to scale, let's say if University of London, if there even is one, they said, hey, we want to be operating here, we flip a switch on our back-end and we're live there. All our competitors, for the most part, rely on a very, very out-of-the-box solution on their back-end, which prohibits that from happening and gets very costly. We're also considered to be one of the first movers on the East Coast, and we're UF backed by the Gator hatchery. Looking at our indirect competitors, those outlined in green, as you can imagine, comparing us to Craigslist, we're a little bit more focused on tutoring. We're more safe, as you can see who they are. And then also we're mobile first. On top of that, it's instructor and course specific. Again, that's kind of our mantras. You're learning exactly what you need to know, when you need to know it from someone that took that exact course before. Growth and scalability. So when we originally pitched this idea, we started at Startup Weekend last year, and Sean and I were working full time. We quit our jobs, working at Fortune 500s to move back. The original idea that we had was to create a marketplace for learning from local experts. So I know there's a couple attorneys in the room. If I want to learn how to effectively negotiate, because I was a pre-law student, it'd be great if I could just get a mentorship session with Dan Rua, for instance, on how to raise money or effective negotiation, just essentially localized homeland courses. We then identified our targets to be professional skills, academic skills, and leisure skills. So leisure would be guitar, sports, things like that. We said we're in Gainesville, academics is the way to start. So we're going to prove our market there and then start to add in other verticals. So today we're academic tutoring. Tomorrow we're a skill-based training system to learn anything in person, face-to-face. Geographic expansion is kind of self-explanatory. We're launching UF and UCF in the next 2 weeks, waiting for Apple to approve our application. From there we'll go to University of Miami, and Tallahassee, Florida State, and potentially FAMU, the schools that are surrounding. So this is kind of the feature that we had designed. This is our big pie in the sky. We don't show it to a lot of people, so this is what we're working towards eventually. Our team. So you see 3 out of the 4 of us here. The other guys busy developing right now. All of us are in-house. We don't outsource any of our contract, our technology work at all. So we have 2 on business, 2 technical. Dennis is design tech, and then we've got our developer, who's our chief technology officer, who's built everything. Sean and I are working on business with partnerships and things like that. Sean and I actually consulted for Gartner. We worked with a team of about 15 startups that we consult and sell to. So we understand what's important in a startup, what makes you fail, what makes you succeed. Dennis has managed a $250,000 advertising budget for digital advertising spend and has basically designed our whole application, which we're pretty proud of. So, as well as our chief technology officer, manages 25 iOS developers right now. So we really understand what's going on. We understand the market. We're all recent grads, and this is the team that's going to do it. Progress and accomplishments. So about 9 months ago, we incorporated, aggregated 2,000 signups in the first 6 weeks, attained over 200 courses that we cover with our tutor base. We're placed in the business incubator, flew out to San Francisco and pitched and won at the Peter Thiel Demo Day Pitch Competition, as well as we're selected as a Techstars finalist, and most recently we're about to close our 50K Friends and Family round at the end of this month. Financing. So in order to scale up as quickly as possible and add in other components such as Android and web and things like that, we eventually want to be able to add in those other verticals. That's going to take a lot of R&D. It's going to take a lot of time for us to understand which markets are important. For that, we're asking $250,000, $50K, which we've already raised and committed, with another potential $50K on the back end. Looking at that a little bit further, we have our beta launch. We're shooting for this month, but Apple's taking a little bit longer with iOS 9, so it's probably going to be November to do our beta launch up until next semester as well, launch it, and then in the fall we'd scale up to 4 additional universities. So right now I think we'd like to go into a product demo, so I'm going to have Dennis actually demo me the product of how it works.
Okay, so you've learned a little bit about Knack. Now you get to actually see it in action. Cool. So we started with iOS. iOS is the lowest hanging fruit. 70% of the users here at UF have actually tested is so 70% of our users are iOS. So we decided that's the lowest hanging fruit. We don't want to develop 2 platforms at once. Get it right with one, have the other one tagging behind it, Android. So we really wanted to create a really good customer experience. So we use a lot of functionality that's similar to things you might see in Yelp and Uber, but we've really put them together in a new way that's really specific to tutoring and really something that you haven't quite seen before. So just to give you a little idea, here's a menu where you can go to find tutors and see your sessions and messages. Well, let's go through some of the functionality of actually finding a tutor. So if you'd open up the app, this is your home screen. You'd be able to see some tutors in your area, people, some recent searches, people that we recommend to you. You can actually go to the map and see some of the tutors that are right next to us. Looks like there's some here. So let's say we want to search for something specific. Let's say law. entrepreneurship, something fairly relevant. Okay, so we see we have Samir. His availability is switched on right now. Anyone has the ability to do that in the sidebar. And so he looks like somebody that we can actually use right now. And he's not too far by. Okay, cool. So let's check out his profile. $5 for 15 minutes, pretty cheap. Seems like something I might be interested in doing. Read his reviews. Looks like some people have said he's a pretty good tutor, someone I might be interested in getting. So I can either send him a message and say, hey, I got this assignment coming up tomorrow for this exam, something I need to, I need this very specific help, and I can kind of confirm that before I actually go ahead and make the request. Or I can just say, okay, this is the guy I want, sit down with me for an hour, let's do this. So let's send him a request. Very simple request form, select the course, all in entrepreneurship, and then of course the location. So this works very similar to Uber. I can really just drag it around and pick, okay, I'll pick some of these locations over here. Or I can, search for something more specific. So we actually have, the entire Google Places in our app. So anywhere that's you can find on Google, you can find on our app. So Harn Museum of Art, let's set location. Then of course the date is filled out for you, 15 minutes. So this is kind of be your on-demand feature. It's going to be, it's right now, we know he's available, let's say 3:15. And length, well, let's say we're going to do an hour. Cool. So now I have the option to, be a little bit more specific about what I need. Bunch of stuff. Cool. So as soon as I send that request, Samir as the tutor is going to get that push notification.
Yeah, so I got a notification saying, new session request from Dennis, please accept or decline this session as soon as possible. So I'll go in and I'll see confirm, reject, or propose a new time. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. I'll obviously see his message as well.
Cool. So as soon as he accepts, I'm going to get a push notification. My session has been accepted. Great. Okay, today at 3:15, let's do this. So let's say we meet up and we're ready to start the session. Make sure your Bluetooth is on because we actually use low energy Bluetooth to pair our phones. That kind of ensures we're both in the same location and of course makes it instantaneous. So let's start the session. Cool, so now our timer is going to run and it's essentially going to keep us accountable to exactly how long our session is going to be. But while it's running, let's actually go and show you some other parts of the app. So of course we have our current My Sessions, this one's in progress, and we've got our history so you can go back and see a previous session, see the payment that took place, and of course the ratings and reviews you've left. Use that to decide who's your tutor for next time. Then of course we have messages. These are messages we sent before and after you start a relationship with the tutor. We actually use something called eJabber. It's the same technology that's used by Facebook and WhatsApp. Makes everything extremely fast. We can support a lot of live features like seeing that people start texting you, very quick file transfer, things like that. So let's check out, here's our sessions, as we saw before. Payments. Okay, so I'm signed up as a tutor on this phone so I get my earnings balance. Every time we have a session,